baseball doing a little bit more right now. But we can officially turn the page to the baseball offseason because players are going to become free agents here in the next couple of days. You can already start making trades. GM meetings, winter meetings are around the corner. The Juan Soto sweepstakes will begin. And so this felt like, now that we've turned the page and moves can happen in any minute now, we would give a little bit of a primer. And don't worry, we are going to keep tabs on everything Arizona Diamondbacks related throughout the offseason. We will have you covered during baseball's free agency because I think this is going to be one of the more impactful free agencies that we've seen in a long time. I think you're going to see a lot of big names get traded. Obviously, Juan Soto, a player of his age, of his caliber being available, is going to bring with it all sorts of buzz. And we had that last year with Shohei Ohtani's free agency. So we are in for a really fun offseason. And so we will have you covered here on the lunch break each and every day. We will keep tabs on all of it. But I thought it would be interesting to go through what the roster currently looks like for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And over at Fangraphs.com, they have for all of the teams in 2025, they have the projected opening day roster and lineup and bench and rotation and bullpen for all of these teams. And so what I thought it would be an interesting exercise to do is to go through what they have the projected starting nine to be, what they have the projected starting rotation to be, and pick out ahead of time where we think the Diamondbacks are going to be the most active and the most aggressive in their pursuits this offseason. And then on the other side, we'll talk about a story in The Athletic that put names to this, that talked about some of the top free agents and the Diamondbacks linked to these players as potential fits, that the Diamondbacks are a good fit for these players. So let's set the stage now, and then we'll get into some specific names here on the other side. So what they have, what Fangraphs has, and again, there's a lot of moving parts here. You got players who are going to pick up options, and this could change. But as we sit right here, what they have is a projected opening day roster for the Arizona Diamondbacks to be their projected go-to starting lineup against right-handed pitchers. They have Corbin Carroll leading off in right field, Ketel Marte hitting number 2 and playing second base. That feels like we're not going to have a conversation about Corbin Carroll being in the outfield and Ketel Marte being the starting second baseman for this team. Those two are locked in, top of the lineup. That's where they're going to be. No questions. We're not going to, no rumors about second baseman or about corner outfielders, at least right field to replace Corbin Carroll. We're good there. Jake McCarthy hitting third, playing left field. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Hitting fourth, being the DH, and hitting fifth, Pavin Smith, the first baseman. Okay, so you have Jake McCarthy in left field. I don't know if necessarily they want him to be the everyday left fielder out there. I think that could potentially be an area of an upgrade, adding an outfielder. Lourdes Gurriel, I think, slots in very nicely as the DH, but can also play the outfield for this team, and at times has been the left fielder out there, the starting left fielder. So there's some interchangeability there. Again, is that a word, Corey? We're going to have to check on interchangeability, if that is a word that we can use. I don't think it's going to be associated with nuclear power, but we'll see. Pavin Smith at first base. Now, this is because Christian Walker is going to be a free agent, and I think that is an area of upgrade. I think they are going to look to either bring Christian Walker back, or we'll talk about some other names here in a second that could make sense. But first base is something you immediately, and I've got the notepad here next to me, we're going to write down as an option for the Diamondbacks. They have to get a first baseman in some regard, whether that's re-signing Christian Walker or another player. Gabby Moreno, your catcher, hitting sixth. Geraldo Perdomo, your shortstop, hitting seventh. Jordan Lawler being the third baseman, hitting eighth. And Alek Thomas in center field in batting ninth. Now, the interesting thing about this is they have Jordan Lawler up and playing third base. I don't know necessarily if the Arizona Diamondbacks want to start the year with Jordan Lawler as their opening day third baseman. He might be a middle of the year addition to this team. Has been injured a lot, hasn't really gotten a lot of run in the minor leagues as of late. So maybe they want to give him a longer runway to get started in the minor leagues before adding the pressure of being a big league third baseman. So I'm going to put third base down as well for this team. And I do think in some capacity, because you have Jake McCarthy in left field, you have Alek Thomas in center, more of a defensive-minded guy in Alek Thomas, not going to wow you with the bat. I'm going to put an outfielder. Maybe somebody who has center field corner versatility, but I think this team is going to want to add another outfielder to this list. They're going to want to bring somebody in. So in terms of the starting nine, the starting lineup, first baseman, third baseman, and some type of outfielder are going to be on the list. You look at the bench, they have Adrian Del Castillo, who could potentially be an option at first base. They have Jose Herrera as the backup catcher, Blaze Alexander and Jorge Barosa on the bench. Could get another bench bat, I believe. Another outfielder there for the bench or an infielder. I think you could look to upgrade the bench. Now, the rotation, Zach Allen, Eduardo Rodriguez, Brennan Pfaadt, Ryan Nelson, Slade Ciccone. I think we're looking at least one starting pitcher. I think they're going to look to add at least one starter to this group to maybe eat up innings. Maybe not, won't be a massive name. There is one massive name that we'll get to here on the other side that they have scouted extensively, and so that's where the connection comes in. And then you look at the bullpen. They have Martinez as the closer, A.J. Puck as the lead setup man, and then I think you're going to see a bunch of arms be brought in because that's what GMs do nowadays. They bring in a whole host of arms. They acquire depth. They add guys to the group, and the group morphs and is different throughout the year. The bullpen that you see on opening day is not the bullpen that you see on the last day of the regular season. It is never like that. But you have your closer and you have your top setup man available to you next year in Justin Martinez and AJ Puck. It's now building out the group around those guys to have maybe some more higher leverage arms to support them, because right now they got Blake Walston back there. They got Brandon Harris back there. They got Bryce Jarvis. I think they probably want an upgrade on the back part of this bullpen. So we'll put relief down as well. So that's where this team sits going into the offseason.